Welcome to a new video from the series of lessons that I learned during my PhD. And today I want to talk about this sentence that is it has become this mainstream description, right? And that is, your work is not your worth. And I was really, when I first heard this sentence, I think in my third or fourth year of my PhD, when I was really struggling already. I was like, okay, I need to get these things done. And it was quite overwhelming, a lot of hours of work and so on. So I said, wow, my work is not my worth. Have I been associating my work to my worth? The answer is absolutely yes. And that's probably, there are many reasons why this is so. Many people do this, and I feel that especially in academia and in these sort of STEM environments, people are really into this concept because the only thing you are doing the majority of your day is working. So it makes sense that, who am I if I do not work that much and so on. But that is really a quite complex topic, and I'm not an expert on that. I can just share my experience. However, what I felt when I heard this sentence, my work is not my worth, is that this is much easier said than done. Because if you think about it, you should definitely not associate your work with your worth, because of course, you are worthy whether you are working or not, no matter how hard working you are or no matter how capable of working you are. But then there is this sense of acknowledgement that is not so easy to find when you do not have work as a tool, I would say. Because a lot of us, especially in academia, and this is something that is perpetuated a lot, and one of the things I really dislike about academia is this perpetuating and romanticizing this super hard working environment in which you are in the lab all day long and you are working in your code and you are working and so on. So I really don't think this is the solution. However, if you have been in this cycle for so long, it can be really hard to escape for it. So when you say my work is not my worth, are you just saying it, or are you really feeling it? For me, when I asked that question to myself, I said, I am sort of in between. It's super hard to detach those two things when you have been primed to think that those two things go together, actually. So I want to, in this video, more than a lesson, I really want to share this experience with you, in which I really want you to ask yourself, are you connecting your work to your worth? And if so, why is this happening? Probably the reason is because somehow deep down you think that this is the only thing that you've been training for, so it makes sense that you are associating that with your work. Or even when we introduce ourselves, I say, hi, I'm Alda and I'm a scientist, as if this was something that was defining me inherently and not something that was just an additional thing that was a part of my experience. So what I want to say in this video is that really, if you feel that you are working a lot during your PhD, and this is a very common experience for many people, if you feel that you are overwhelmed by that, try to become aware that there are other things besides work, besides the lab, besides your paper and your thesis, because it is so important to keep that balance going, to make sure your work keeps being productive and to make sure that your work keeps being joyful. Regarding whether or not you are going to stay in academia or you are planning to do something else at some other point in your life, but it's really important to make sure that you are aware that sometimes we are indeed associating work with worth, and this isn't something that we cannot change. It's something that we can change if we just become a little bit more aware of those things. And this really reminds me of a story of a client of mine. We were working together on some big project they were presenting. They were actually pitching for some funding. And at some point they told me, yeah, but I don't know what am I going to do if this doesn't work out. And it really like this sentence is super strong, especially for me as a coach. Like you are coaching a person and trying to help them to to get that funding, to write that proposal in the best possible way, to structure their work so that other people can appreciate it and can use it and can see why it's valuable. And then you hear this something like that and you're like, whoa, okay, there is a lot of responsibility in this sentence, because of course sometimes even though you do the hard work, even though you do everything perfectly, things just don't work out. And we sort of have to, this is why it's so important to detach those two things, right? Because you are not what you do, you are, and then you do somehow, something like that. And if I would like to share one piece of advice with people who are starting their PhD or starting in academia or actually starting anything, I think this is valid also for corporate careers. I really want to think about how your work is affecting your worth if this is happening, and I really encourage you to try to detangle those two things, because the benefits of detangling are like taking off a really heavy backpack, and it will make your life much easier and much, I would say, in your work much more enjoyable. Having said that, nowadays I am helping STEM professionals do exactly that. I'm helping STEM professionals improve their careers, make sure that they can bring some structure to their work without feeling overwhelmed and without feeling that their work is the only thing they have in their life. So I help them become more structured, to explain their work better to other people, to make sure that there is some structure to the noise, because sometimes we are so busy, sometimes our projects are piling up on our to-do list and we really don't know where to even start from. And this is exactly what I help STEM professionals figure out. So I want to invite you to join a completely free coaching call in the link in the description, and of course see if you have some experience to share where I could help you, and see if we are a good fit to work together if you realize that this is something that you would need. Thank you so much for watching this video, and see you in the next few days with another video and another lesson. Thank you so much.